Hey, what's going on guys? So today what I'm going to be talking about is returning maps for Gears of War Judgment. Now if we look at all of the other Gears of Wars, I'm talking Gears of War 1, Gears of War PC, Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, you'll notice that somewhere along the line of, map packs and maps that have came with the retail game, there is some sort of map that was in a previous Gears of War. I'm not talking about Gears of War 1 here because obviously that was the first game, so they're all original maps. But yeah, if we're looking at Gears of War 2, you've got maps like War Machine, Tyro Station, Subway, Canals, and there was a couple other maps, but I really can't think of them. They were in the Snowblind map pack. Well, there was one that was from Gears of War PC, and yeah, all these maps were from Gears of War 1, and then if we look at Gears of War 3 to Gears of War 2, there was Jacinto, and I think that was the only one really, but yeah, I don't think any of the other Gears of War 2 maps would have really worked amazingly well. Oh no, there was Blood Drive as well. Yeah, Blood Drive, but yeah, other than that I don't really think that many of the Gears of War 2 maps would have worked really well with Gears of War 3. Gears of War 2 maps, I personally think that they were based around Execution and Warzone, whereas Gears of War 3 as a whole was based around TDM and game types where you get to respawn. So personally I don't think those maps would have really worked amazingly well. Now, Gears of War Judgment, a game that is completely based around kills and respawning, there's no game type where if I die I've got to sit there and watch my friend for like 3 or 4 minutes until they either clutch or die. It's nothing like that now. It's just you go out and get as many kills as possible within the allotted time, which is, I don't know, like 10 minutes I think. So yeah, what Judgment and the developers over at Epic have done have pretty much changed the whole way of Gears of War and how it plays as a whole. Now if we look at all the other Gears of Wars, Gears of War 1 and 2, they play pretty much as slow to medium paced. We're talking about like Execution and Warzone, where you've got to be placed in like strategical places to get kills, and like running out, you could just get crossed by like 3 people, shotgun by 2, and that's it, you're out. Most of the maps in Gears of War 1 and 2 were based around that, whereas Gears of War 3, as I said before, based around respawning and things like that. I can just run out. If I die, it doesn't matter, I'm going to respawn. So Judgment have pretty much took that as a whole, because Gears of War 3, it did implement some maps that were kind of meant for Execution and Warzone, and they did take some over, like Blood Drive and Clock Tower and things like that. But yeah, Judgment as a whole have pretty much just changed the whole way that Gears of War plays. They've changed it from slow to medium paced to fast paced to like extremely fast paced, whereas they've took down but not out out of the game, and they thought that would pretty much make the game a lot more fast paced. In my opinion, it hasn't, and it won't. The reason why down but not out won't work is because it's just encouraging people to use Retro Lancer and Lancers pretty much. So to be honest, they've kind of turned it into sort of like a rifle game, whereas all the other Gears of Wars were shotgun based games or power weapon based games even. But yeah, in one of the podcasts, someone actually asked a question whether or not maps would be symmetrical in Gears of War 3, and this is what I'm trying to get to. If we look at Gears of War 1, 2 and 3, pretty much every single map is symmetrical. We're talking about like one half of the map has been designed and then pretty much flipped, and then just had buildings changed and stuff like that, like different pieces of cover in different areas and things like that. But for the most, the maps are like 90% symmetrical. If we look at maps like Mercy, Blood Drive and all maps like that, they're all symmetrical maps. Whereas Gears of War Judgment they took a new approach with map building, and they've basically made the whole thing environmental pretty much. So there's always going to be like an environmental aspect of the map. So like Gears of War 2 with Avalanche, pretty much, where the avalanche comes down and then you can go and pick up the torp bow boom shot. It's pretty much going to be like that. I think on the map library, like there's a little button you can press, and a bookshelf kind of like comes up, and then you can walk and get, I think it's a digger or something like that. But yeah, so the maps for Gears of War 1, 2 and 3 kind of aren't going to work in Judgment. You know, these maps were based for slow and medium paced gameplay, whereas Judgment maps, according to People Can Fly, is based around really fast paced gameplay where people are just going to be running around and killing. They're not going to be using cover that much. Well, they will, but you know, not as much as in all the other Gears of Wars. And yeah, you know, because people are going to find it easier to kill enemies and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much why I don't think Gears of War 1, 2 and 3 maps are going to be in Gears of War Judgment, simply because it just won't work well. If we look at all the other Gears of War maps, they're all symmetrical. Gears of War Judgment isn't going to have any symmetrical maps. So, you know, maps like Canals, Blood Drive, Mercy, and maps like that, you know, they just won't work well enough. And yeah, you know, that was pretty much my little rant of Gears of War maps and things like that. I don't know if I'm going to upload this. I more than likely will. But yeah, I guess this could be like a little informational video as well, you know, just telling you guys why I think any of the maps won't be imported into Gears of War Judgment as like a DLC, or you know, shipping with the retail game. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys, and you know, if you want, leave your thoughts on maps and things like that down below in the comment section, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 2,000 subscribers, more than likely a copy of Gears of War Judgment, if I can get 2,000 subscribers before whenever the game's released. For me, I think it's March 22nd. So yeah, you know, peace, guys.